Hello everyone, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to my next The 5 list on my YouTube channel. I know I haven't done a whole lot of these recently. I did recently bring it back earlier this week with the 5 horror game franchises, the 5 RPG franchises that deserve to make a return, and I'm eventually going to tackle other video game genres in the same topic, whether or not they're in this dubbed Season 2 or a future season of these The 5 list, I don't know yet, but they will be coming. Stay tuned for those. But this is a topic I want to do today, and you already see the name of the video below me. You see the thumbnail whenever I do eventually change it. You know exactly what I'm going to talk about. I don't want to dwell on introducing it too much longer, but you know what it is. It's a topic I wanted to talk about for a while now, and I did kind of for a while want to turn into the 5 list, and I want to do it because I'm an anime fan. I'm a fan of Dragon Ball, and having watched the series, read the manga, seen the characters, playing the video games, what the heck else ever with Dragon Ball over the years, you kind of get to notice something about a lot of the characters in said series, especially because there's a crap ton of them, and I had to talk about it because I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, there really are a lot of characters like that. And I was doing research. I'm like, I had enough for at least 2 lists. And the name of the 5 list today is going to be the 5 Dragon Ball characters that deserved much better. The 5 Dragon Ball characters that had so much potential and was wasted. They were wasted. But like I said, I came up with numerous characters. I'm looking at heroes, villains, side characters, main characters. And I'm like, there's a lot I can go off of. And I think the 5 I pretty much, picked, I think, are the embodiment of this topic and are the embodiment of wasted potential in the Dragon Ball universe. But I had numerous other characters I wanted to do too, and I will mention them right now. Some honorable mentions for characters I was considering for this list: Tien, Piccolo, Krillin, Nappa, Goten, Gohan, freaking, did I say Krillin already? Chaozu to some extent, Master Roshi, sort of, etc., etc., etc. Like I had enough for at least one more of the 5 list. But the reason why I didn't want to pick any of those characters, I think a lot of those characters eventually kind of made up for being misused, and they were still used to some extent that they were fairly relevant in the series. The likes of Tien, like many of the Earthling characters, many of the non-Saiyan characters, I'll just say this, pretty much as soon as the Saiyans got to be a major part of the Dragon Ball story, a lot of the non-Saiyan characters got shafted hard. Tien kind of did too. He got killed in Saiyan Saga, but he came back, for the androids, did pretty well against Stealth the Tri-Beam, and he at least semi-recovered with Chaozu with him, so I count Chaozu in with the Tien character. Piccolo and Krillin still had major moments throughout the Frieza Saga, the Android Saga, the Buu Saga, training Goten and Trunks, fighting the androids, Krillin mirroring Android 18, having that sort of dynamic there, Piccolo being revived and fighting Frieza on Namek, stuff like that. They were still fairly relevant. Goten still had some sort of moments. Nappa was like a one-off villain anyways, just be a partner of Vegeta when he came to Earth. I think he could have been a little bit better used, but really what he was still pretty decent. Master Roshi kind of was just majored in Dragon Ball and just kind of fell out of the wayside when Goku became such a more powerful character, being, surpassing his master and whatnot. I can understand some of those characters. They still had their fairly relevant moments throughout Dragon Ball Z, somewhat in GT, in Super, so on and so forth. They at least had their moments and weren't totally dragged through the mud. These 5 characters, I feel, just fell off the wagon at some point. I feel they could have been handled a lot better, whether by Akira Toriyama in the manga, or the Toei Animation doing the anime, or mishmash, filler, canon, whatever the heck else. These characters could have been handled much better, and I think they're the embodiment of this topic of, and I'm going to start the list right now, the 5 Dragon Ball characters that deserved much better. And the first character I want to do on this list, and you see when I talk about all those honorable mentions, I lack this human Earthling character, and he should be on everyone's list, and everyone with this topic would immediately probably jump on this because he's kind of become the butt of jokes throughout the Dragon Ball universe. And I wanted to mention him because everyone's going to know he's on this list at some point if I didn't mention him in the honorable mentions, and that goes to Yamcha. Now, Yamcha was never a majorly serious character. He always had like the goofball antics, being scared to talk to girls, touch girls and everything. Since he was debuted as Bandit Yamcha in Dragon Ball, he was never a massively serious character, but he was always somewhat of a massively important to the story character. Throughout Dragon Ball, Yamcha was always like involved in almost every arc since he debuted as Bandit during like the Pilaf arc, the Pilaf saga and whatnot. And he did his part in the Red Ribbon Army stuff. He was in the World Martial Arts tournaments, losing to Tien, Jackie Chun, and kind of being there, still training and whatnot under Master Roshi and preparing and just trying to be relevant. Then Dragon Ball Z happens, the Saiyans come, Cybermen blow up and kill him, and he pretty much just kind of falls to the wayside from there. Like, he comes back, gets revived after Frieza. The androids come. He gets owned by Android 19, I believe, or is it 20? I don't know which one. Yeah, 19 by Dr. Gero himself. Pretty much just gets his ass handed to him by the Cell Juniors during the Cell part, and then pretty much decides to stop fighting in that time skip to Buu. Like, they mock him so much, and then on Super, he kind of, the whole baseball thing, which he was actually in early Dragon Ball. He was playing baseball and whatnot, but they made jokes about freaking him. They even did like a repeat of like the laying in the ground thing from the Saiyaman thing, and like they turned him into such a joke. And I think for an Earthling character, he's been thrown around way too much. Like, at least Krillin and Tien were still fairly well used. Yamcha pretty much gets crapped on once Dragon Ball Z hits. That's pretty much what he is, and he had such potential too. I think he could have been at least a semi-more major Dragon Ball character, Z fighter character that for the Earthlings to fight. But once the Saiyans hit, like, the Earthlings kind of took a dive in terms of importance, and who took the dive the hardest? Yamcha. After he got pwned in the Saiyan saga, I feel he could have at least been semi-relevant to at least be somewhat of a fighter, and I don't even think Super revived him that much, and I don't even recall what they did with him in GT and whatnot, non-canon canon-wise. I don't really care at this point. The series has kind of done him dirty. Akira Toriyama did him dirty, and I think Yamcha deserved at least somewhat better. Not a major character or anything, but at least have some sort of importance where he at least isn't made to look like the butt of everyone's jokes. The second character I want to talk about, I think she had such potential when they introduced her later in the series, and like, it feels like GT kind of did it in slightly a direction I kind of assumed they would have went with, even though she kind of became less relevant even in that. But Super totally just threw her out of like the fighting scene and pretty much kind of changed her character almost completely. And I'm going to tell you, Videl was wasted. Videl had so much potential, being the daughter of Hercules, big world martial arts champion that fought Cell, even though he was, got pwned and whatnot. Everyone built him up. She wanted to train to be like her father. She goes, she trains, she sees Gohan when he goes to high school. She was in his little friend group when he went to high school. And she was kind of like his rival, like trying to find out who the Gold Fighter was, trying to find out who the Great Saiyaman was. And she became the Great Saiyan Woman, and they had like a partnership, a friendship. He trained her to learn how to use, to fly, use ki and everything. They go to the World Martial Arts Tournament. She gets owned by Spovich and pretty much spends the rest of the Buu saga pretty much doing jack all. And then she's one killed during the whole Buu beam thing that killed all the Earth, everyone on Earth. And then she gets married to him, and they have Pan, and she becomes more of a motherly figure and stops fighting. I understand, because I think she saw that I think the whole reason she wanted to fight was to kind of be like her father and kind of surpass her father. But once she saw Gohan and whatnot, she saw, she didn't really want to, it's not something she really wanted to do. I think that's the whole point of her character. But at least she had some more of a tomboyish, could still semi-fight in GT, sort of. She became a super mother in Super, and no fighting aspect to her whatsoever. She just gave up on it completely. And I think, being trained to Gohan, like they could have been like next Chi-Chi and Goku. Chi-Chi at least knew how to fight, and Chi-Chi could still kick ass in Dragon Ball Z. And she could still defend herself and fight. I don't think in current day version of Videl could really do that. And I think they could have handled her more like a Chi-Chi character, but I guess they didn't want to make her completely like Chi-Chi, because she kind of started off very Chi-Chi-esque, and they didn't want to have another Chi-Chi Goku kind of thing. I can understand that, and I'm not saying that she needed to fight, but she should have been able to handle herself maybe and fighting a little bit more, and it doesn't feel like the character kind of is in that even scenario anymore. And I feel they could have handled her a little bit better. Not like a complete change, not like Yamcha being totally wasted. She just needed like a little tweak to be at least handled a little bit differently. I can understand not fighting completely, but being able to at least defend herself and be able to fly and ki and everything doesn't seem to really do that anymore. The third character is going to go to a Saiyan character, and I've already talked about how the Saiyans overtook the series, and a lot of fans could say that, and I could say that as a big fan loving the series too. I think the Saiyans becoming such a major thing kind of screwed over a lot of characters, but this is a Saiyan that just got screwed over in general because of his placement in the series. But I think because of his importance and who he's related to, I don't get why they never made him more of a thing in the further part of the series after he was killed off. And that goes to Raditz. It's Goku's brother. Why in the hell was he forgotten about? It was basically mentioned he comes to Earth. His entire importance was to transition from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z to introduce the concept of the Saiyans, that Goku is a Saiyan, which since the beginning of the series we were wondering, why does Goku have a tail? Who in the world is Goku? Where did he come from? We find out he's an alien from space, a race of people that pretty much take over planets and work under a dictator, evil douchebag Frieza. And he comes and he fights Goku and Piccolo, and then pretty much the special beam cannon, Goku sacrifices himself. He goes and gets killed, goes to King Yama, and then gets sent to hell. And we never hear from him again. There's that little, that movie, the Decimation, whatever, the Saiyans or whatever it was, but that wasn't even really him. That was more of a fog monster that took on his form and everything. It was like an evil, not Raditz. He's the main character's brother, and they never tackle his character arc again. I'm surprised, first and foremost, that Goku's family never becomes important at all in the series. His mother, his father Bardock, they never talk about his Saiyan family whatsoever. It's kind of thrown under the rug, and I'm surprised even in Super they never had Bardock come from the other world and fight Goku, or meet his mom, or Raditz come back. And a lot of people have been making up fan fiction and arcs and stuff that should happen. I really think he deserved a lot better than to be thrown under the rug during after he was killed off. Since we got Vegeta bringing in Tarbo, and Tarbo was made canon and made his importance in that little side movie and mentioned in Super and whatnot. Can Raditz come back? I mean, at this point, it's pointless to bring him back at all. It's some of this stuff should have happened years ago, earlier in the story. I think it's a little too late to bring Raditz back, even though I think he deserved it, and he deserved a lot better. The fourth character on my list is a character that was later in the series and was debuted in the Saiyan saga. And the way they debuted him, he was so mysterious. He seemed like such a threat. Even Piccolo was worried about him. Piccolo was threatened by him during the World Martial Arts Tournament. You should know who I'm talking about by now. But he immediately went from that mysterious, of a thing, of that kind of a character, to pretty much almost becoming a joke, almost becoming a weakling, and pretty much getting his ass handed to him. And that's the Supreme Kai. Supreme Kai, he's a Kai. He should be powerful enough to defend himself, but then he pretty much is this mysterious figure with Kibito in the World Martial Arts Tournament. Piccolo fears him. He's such a threat. He lets Gohan get the power taken until they go to Buu and to Bura and fighting Babidi and everything. And then pretty much he's amazed to see how well these people fight, and he's just shocked at all these people kicking ass like Goku and Vegeta. And then he pretty much gets pwned by Buu, fused to Kibito, making the Kibito Kai thing, and which for a second they're the Kai, the rings, the earrings are supposed to be permanent, and then they backtrack on that for Super, which alone is a stupid idea. Why introduce this character as such a mysterious entity and then make him into a joke almost, and the weakling, and he gets beaten easily? I don't even think he ever legitimately had a fight in the Buu saga, and they haven't done anything with him in Super. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. And my last character, she is the definition. If Yamcha is the most wasted male character in this series, she is legitimately the most wasted female character in all of Dragon Ball history, because she got it worse than Yamcha. Yamcha at least is remembered. Yamcha is at least, was continuously in the story, and they just kept diminishing him as a fighter to the point where he just decided to retire and stop fighting. But at least he stuck around and was at least semi-relevant to pretty much Cell and Buu and whatnot. But this character, Akira Toriyama, completely forgot about, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, and that goes to Launch. Launch was one of the main characters in the Dragon Ball cast. It was Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, Bulma, Oolong, Master Roshi, and Launch. They were the main characters throughout Dragon Ball, from when Goku started to when he beat Piccolo Jr. at the end of Dragon Ball. And then Dragon Ball Z hits, completely wiped off the face of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball in general, besides 2 scenes. Now, I don't know if she's in Super, because I never watched all of Super, but I think I would have seen some sort of scene from her, heard about her showing up in Super by some sort of anime or Dragon Ball fan at this point, if she was indeed in Super. So I'm doubting she ever showed up in Super. She disappeared completely after Piccolo Jr. was beaten. Saiyans arrive. Yellow-haired version of her pretty much is in a bar when the Earth thought everything was going to go to hell and the planet was going to be destroyed. And she was in the bar basically wasting away drunk, worrying about her fate. And then we don't see her again until the Buu saga when Goku's asking for the Earth's energy to do the Spirit Bomb to kill Buu, and nice blue hair launch is the one shown giving him energy. Where was she at all in between all of that? Like, Jesus Christ, she was one of the main cast in freaking Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z hits, completely forgot about, besides 2 scenes. She was never in GT. I don't think she was ever in Super at all. She was completely wasted off, and she was one of the main 7 characters in Dragon Ball. Like, she's the definition of wasted potential because she was never given potential because he completely forgot about her. Ah! And that's it for my... Crap. There we go. Perfect. The 5 Dragon Ball characters I feel deserved a lot better. The 5 Dragon Ball characters that deserved more, had better potential and just should have been used better. Those being Yamcha, Videl, Raditz, Supreme Kai, and Launch. Put in the comment section what do you guys think. Do you guys think these characters could have been handled better? Do you think they were done appropriately, or so on and so forth? And put in the comment section what other Dragon Ball characters, ones I mentioned earlier, like Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin, or anyone that I didn't mention, hero, side character, villain, whatever, that deserved much better in Dragon Ball, could have been handled a lot better. In the comment section down below, we discuss it there. My name is Snipers Fun. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to. Have a lovely day, and see you all later. Bye.